So Vanessa, what I'm doing here with Jelle is I'm on him. I've been on him a few times, and where I'm got a little bit of hang up going is he's still got a couple things that aren't crystal clear to him that he's having a little bit of issues with. That I am taking my time because he's so doggone young and so doggone big, right? He's pretty strong to pull you around. He's all that kind of stuff. Little things of still getting him disengaging his hip. When I ask him to disengage hip, he wants to swish tail a little bit. So I need to do those things. One day I can push a little bit, but then for the next 4 days I need to not push him too much because we don't want to create an issue to where he is a tail swisher, where every time you ask him to scoot his hind end over or to move off on the leg that he starts to swish tail. So there's days that I get that out of him pretty nice, and then there's other days where he'll still hang up. Just the cracking of this whip is taking a little bit of time. Again, and it's not something that he may need to always know, but he needs to know when that thing cracks, that doesn't mean to take off and start running around and getting all crazy. And that was his response before. When he would hear this thing crack, he'd go into automatic, almost panic, if you will. So I don't want that one day you're at a show and someone's working one out in the pin and they're cracking whip and this guy can't keep his mind together because he keeps hearing that damn whip pop. So those little things I'm waiting to develop a little bit better on him, and they're getting pretty close. I mean, that response this morning was pretty nice. Again, when I ask him to scoot his hip around, let's see what he does when I ask him to move a hip. And I'm just trying to give you something now because I'm sure by now you're waiting to see, well, what the hell's the hang up, where's everything going, how's he doing and all that. And I say again, today's going to be a windy, crappy day, so I may not climb on him. I may not, whatever. But when I'm on the ground with these horses, I know what I'm going to be on when I get on their back, right? So every time I'm messing with them, I've got a vision of where he's going to do when I'm up there. And it holds true on everyone that I do. For instance, this guy, when I try to make him go to work, when I ask him to go to work a little bit, some days he's pretty nice, and then other days he's pretty sluggish. And if you touch him with the stick in the back of his butt, instead of moving forward and getting off of it, he would like to kind of just slow down, kick out at it, or do something of that nature. So I'm developing the forward movement on him. And when I'm on his back, if I'm using his little dressage whip, when I tap him with that dressage whip, I want him to engage and start going to work. I don't want him to start kicking out at it like what he was doing at first. And I'm that close to having all that really lined out on him. So what I do when I get up there with that little dressage whip, when I tap him with that whip and ask him to move forward, and he'd rather hump up than move forward, meaning he'd throw his ass up at it as opposed to getting off of it, I don't just reach around with that thing and whip the dog shit out of him, right? I need to do that so that it all blends together, because the first time somebody gets in there and starts whipping them with that thing, from that day on, every time somebody asks him from the back end to scoot forward, whether he's loading a trailer or whatever the hell he's doing, every time somebody asks him to scoot forward, he's going to start swishing that tail and getting nervous. So that's why I don't do him that way. I have to make sure this horse understands it, and he is really willing to do it. But just like, I'm glad you sent that with the clippers. This right here, right? This is our horse that I'm looking for. Boy, that's on his ears. There's on his feet. He's not running away from me. And by you sending me that, saying that he has issues with the clippers, are things I like to know, because then I'm able to test these little things like this, and I can see progress, right? I can see that something is changing in this horse's mind. Although I can see it every time I'm messing with him, that he's getting a little quieter, a little more content with everything that's going on. But again, he's a giant baby. And he's don't mind the pig too much either. But I'm going to ask him to scoot his hind end over. See the little tail switch? I am trying for that. Because when he's in the show, you're asking him to scoot over. I don't want every time you lay a leg on him that he swishes tail. And that comes from when that's going on, then the next few times I need to be really light on him. I have to continue to drive and drive and drive, or that tail swishing is going to get worse and worse and worse. And there's some days I don't have it at all, and then there's other days that he'll swish tail at me a little bit. And those are the things that I don't ram and jam on these guys, right? I can shove him through it, and he'd just be a mental wreck and always looking to the outside, trying to get away from everything, trying to do all that kind of stuff. But I need him to be be willing to do whatever we want to do. Good boy. To do whatever we want to do and be happy about doing what we want to do. And the way to do that is not by overloading this colt's mind and by blowing, I call that blowing their damn mind. Because once you blow their mind, it's hard to get them back again. And especially on one that's as big and strong as he is. If we get him to where he's spooky and that head just goes up in the air for every time he gets nervous about something, imagine how many women it's going to take to hang on this thing's face to try to bring his head down, as opposed to him just doing it because he's comfortable doing it. Good fella. But anyway, Vanessa, I just wanted to get you something so you could kind of see where what we're doing with him and where we're at and that kind of deal like that. There's lots of progress. When I'm on his back, things are going good, but I'm trying to tie it all kind of together now, all that groundwork and everything else and the quietness and that kind of deal there. But I'm by no means lagging on him. I'm doing everything that I can do to try to keep his mind right, to try to keep his body right, where we don't get wind puffs by overdoing things and all that kind of stuff like that. He's going to go to sleep. He wants to go take a nap. It's been a long night. But anywho, you have a great day, and I wanted to get you just something on him so you could see him. But by now, I'm sure you're chomping at the bit, wondering what the hell we're doing over here. It's coming along slowly but surely. He's trying to be a good boy. He don't even mind the dang pig over there. Point to your little pig.
He's gonna go. He's gonna go.
You're good.